There are a few national parks that offer as many tours as Everglades. You can do the same types of tours in different areas of the park and have completely different experiences. Our favorite tour was probably the wet walk we did for free in Big Cypress, just across the road from the park boundary. Even though our hike wasn't technically in the park, it's the same landscape, and there are tours that run in the park by Everglades National Park Institute that are very similar that cost about $55. This is a tour we ended up doing last minute after we knew we could pack some extra gear, and it ended up being a super cool and calm experience. Even though there has never been an alligator incident in the park and you're with guides, it does still linger in your mind when you're knee-deep in the swamp and you can't see your feet. For regular boat tours, you have options in Flamingo and the 10,000 Islands part of the park. We decided to do the 10,000 Islands boat tour, and although I think it would have been much more scenic from above in a plane, we still had a great guide and plenty of wildlife interaction. While you're in the area, Everglades City has quite a bit to offer, while Chokalotski Island has the Smallwood store. For a land-based tour, we did the Valley Tram on the north end of the park. You can choose to bike or take the narrated tram for the 15-mile trail, which has an observation tower at the halfway point. The tram isn't much more expensive than biking, and it lasts 2 hours with great stops for wildlife and interesting information along the way. We saw about 20 alligators and tons of unique birds along the way. For kayaking, you can go in both areas as boats, but also endless waterway options and ponds along the park roads. We decided we wanted to go in Florida Bay and the Buttonwood Canal, but unfortunately we weren't allowed in the bay that morning, and the canal was probably the most disappointing part of our entire trip, and it took a full hour to paddle to Coop Bay and back. Luckily, it was our cheapest tour. And finally, the last tour we wanted to do was an airboat tour. Airboats are probably the most popular tour and what people think of when they think of the Everglades. There are quite a few operators in the area, but there's only 3 that have national park access. My dad had took a tour in the Sawgrass area outside the park and had a pretty poor experience. Our tour in the park, though, was much better. You barely float over the grass doing crazy turns, you stop for alligators, and go down scenic canals. The ride is short and sweet and only about 40 minutes from Miami. See below for the operators we use and the cost for each tour, and reach out with any questions.